Hey folks, before we get started, I just want to remind you to follow SkyAlert USA so you can catch this video and all our future updates. If you find our coverage helpful, please support us by subscribing, liking, and dropping a comment below. It really helps us keep bringing you the latest weather info. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in North America. Welcome back to SkyAlert USA, your #1 source for the most critical, comprehensive, and up-to-the-minute weather coverage across the United States and Canada. I'm your host, and today, March 2nd, 2026. We have an absolutely packed weather briefing for you. We are watching multiple active systems, a powerful Arctic clipper storm on the move, the collapse of the polar vortex, dangerous sub-zero wind chills across the Great Lakes and the Northeast, and believe it or not, we're already seeing the early signals of spring severe weather setting up for the week ahead. Stay locked in. This is a big one. Before we dive region by region, let's understand the big picture atmospheric setup that is responsible for everything we are seeing today across North America. The main driver of our current weather chaos is the collapse of the polar vortex. For weeks now, meteorologists and scientists have been tracking a major stratospheric warming event in the upper atmosphere above the North Pole. A major stratospheric wind reversal has appeared in the latest forecasts, signaling a final collapse of the polar vortex as we head into March. What does that mean for you on the ground? When the polar vortex weakens and splits apart, it unleashes cold Arctic air that normally stays locked near the poles and sends it surging southward into Canada and the United States. Forecasters are now tracking a new stratospheric warming event with a full wind reversal appearing in forecasts for early March, signaling the final seasonal collapse of the polar vortex. This high-energy event is heavily destabilizing the polar vortex and disrupting the northern circulation. The result? An extended period of bitterly cold Arctic conditions across large parts of the country, just as meteorological spring was supposed to begin. On top of the polar vortex collapse, we are also dealing with the influence of a collapsing La Niña pattern. The spring 2026 season is approaching with the latest forecasts confirming a collapsing La Niña still having a diminishing influence over North America. For the United States and Canada, this transition will be dictated by a high-pressure system in the Pacific, while a low-pressure zone over Canada is expected to keep the colder air mass within close reach of the United States. Put all of these ingredients together, a split polar vortex, a collapsing La Niña, and an active jet stream, and you have the recipe for today's severe weather setup across North America. The headline weather story today is the Arctic clipper storm, currently barreling across the country from the Midwest toward the East Coast. This is not just a minor snow event. This storm is capable of causing significant travel disruptions and dangerous conditions for millions of people. The clipper storm is a system fueled by a fresh surge of Arctic air mass diving south from Canada into the US. These storms typically form in the lee of the Canadian Rockies, in Alberta, and quickly move across the northern United States toward the east. These systems are not fueled by high moisture like other winter storms, so snow amounts are less impactful, but they can still disrupt travel. They are followed by extreme cold air masses, characterized by a massive drop in temperature. We are tracking a potentially impactful storm system that will barrel across parts of the nation this Sunday and Monday, leading to travel disruptions with a wintry mix of snow and ice. The storm will impact areas from Chicago and Detroit to New York City and Philadelphia, with Monday morning rush hour travel disrupted by fresh snow and locally ice or freezing rain. Illinois. Chicago is already seeing accumulating snow and reduced visibility this morning. Temperatures are plummeting. Roads are icing up fast on the overnight low. The morning rush hour commute is going to be extremely challenging for residents across the Chicago metro. Michigan and Ohio, Detroit, Cleveland, Columbus, all in the direct path of this clipper. Expect moderate to heavy snow bands, especially near the Great Lakes, where lake effect enhancement is possible. Winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories remain in effect across much of Michigan and northern Ohio, Pennsylvania and the Mid-Atlantic. Philadelphia is expecting a significant snowfall event through Monday morning. This comes on the heels of last week's destructive nor'easter that already pummeled the city. Roads are still recovering. A new round of snow on top of existing ice is a recipe for extremely hazardous conditions. New York and New England. New York City, still digging out from the record-breaking blizzard that struck the region just days ago, is now bracing for yet another round of snow and ice. Accumulations of 3 to 7 inches are possible across New York City and the surrounding metro area. Boston, Hartford, Providence, all watching this system closely. Perhaps more dangerous than the snowfall totals themselves are the life-threatening temperatures that are following this clipper in its wake. This is where the real danger lies for residents across a huge swath of the country. Monday lows will be in the 20s across the Midwest to the Ohio Valley, with mid-teens across the Great Lakes and the Northeast United States. It'll remain much warmer further south, with lows in the 40s and 50s on Monday, then conditions warm up after midweek. The intensifying polar jet stream will keep the Arctic high over Canada strong, locking the Great Lakes and the Northeast in a deep freeze through midweek, resulting in cold temperatures for the first month of the meteorological spring. Wind chills across the Great Lakes and northern New England tonight will feel as cold as -10 to -25 degrees Fahrenheit in some locations. Frostbite can occur on exposed skin in as little as 10 to 15 minutes under these conditions. The National Weather Service has issued extreme cold warnings for parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and upstate New York. For Canada, British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Ontario are all experiencing dangerous Arctic conditions today. Temperature readings in Winnipeg, Manitoba dropped to near -35 degrees Celsius, with wind chill values approaching -50 degrees Celsius in some northern communities. Environment and Climate Change Canada has issued extreme cold warnings across vast stretches of the prairie provinces. This is not weather to take lightly. Exposure to these temperatures without proper protection can be fatal within minutes. To fully understand today's situation, we need to acknowledge the backdrop of an incredibly brutal 2026 winter season that has already left much of the country reeling. From January 23rd to 27th, 2026, a very large and expansive winter storm caused deadly and catastrophic ice and snow impacts across a very long stretch of land, encompassing northern Mexico to the southern and northeastern United States and into Canada. A large swath of winter weather alerts were issued by the National Weather Service, including winter storm warnings and ice storm warnings stretching from the Four Corners region to as far northeast as the state of Maine, encompassing a near 2,000-mile stretch of contiguous alerts, comprising a population of more than 230 million people. As of early February, 171 deaths had been confirmed due to the storm, making it the deadliest winter storm in North America since Winter Storm Uri. Over 1 million customers lost power, mostly concentrated within the south, where a damaging and crippling ice storm occurred, causing power lines and trees to snap and break under the weight. Damages are estimated to be in excess of $4 billion. Then, as if that wasn't enough, this became the second major winter storm to impact the East Coast in a month. A fast-forming nor'easter turned into a blizzard bomb, as the northeast and mid-Atlantic regions saw upwards of 20 inches of snow from Sunday evening into Monday morning. Over the last few weeks, severe winter weather produced heavy snow and life-threatening wind chills across multiple states, with 12 emergency declarations approved by President Trump, allowing states to request federal expertise and resources to help protect and save lives, property, public health, and safety. Many communities, especially in Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, and the Carolinas, are still recovering from power outages that began weeks ago. Adding a new Clipper storm on top of infrastructure already strained to its limits is a serious public safety concern. While all eyes are on the frozen east, let's not forget the West Coast. California is experiencing a relatively quiet weather pattern today, with mild, partly cloudy skies across the Central Valley and Southern California. Los Angeles is sitting at a pleasant 59 degrees Fahrenheit. San Diego, 58 degrees. San Jose, 54 degrees. However, the Sierra Nevada mountains are seeing heavy snowpack, which is good news for the state's long-term water supply, but creating dangerous driving conditions on Interstate 80 and Highway 50. Chain controls are in effect on several mountain passes. The Pacific Northwest, Washington State and Oregon are watching a new moisture-rich system developing in the Pacific that could bring heavy rainfall and mountain snow to the region by the middle of the week. The Cascade Range could see 2 to 4 feet of additional snow over the next 5 to 7 days. River flooding is a growing concern in the lowlands of western Washington as snowmelt and rain combine. In Arizona and New Mexico, temperatures remain above normal. Phoenix is sitting at a warm 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Flagstaff, at elevation, is dealing with some residual snow from previous systems, but new snowfall is not expected in the next 24 hours. Now, here is something important that we want every viewer in the southern states to pay close attention to. While today is relatively quiet for the south, Dallas at 63 degrees, Houston at 65 degrees, San Antonio at 67 degrees, the pattern is about to shift dramatically. The spring 2026 season is marked by a volatile transition from winter to summer. This year, the pattern will be defined by the rapid collapse of La Niña and the lingering effects of a late winter stratospheric warming event. AccuWeather forecasters are warning that a severe weather risk will increase as the weather pattern shifts in March. What does that mean? As the Arctic air retreats and warmer, more moisture-laden air begins surging northward from the Gulf of Mexico later this week and into the weekend, we will see the ingredients for powerful thunderstorm development across the southern plains, Gulf Coast states, and eventually the mid-Mississippi Valley. Tornado season 2026 is already getting attention from meteorologists. The combination of an active jet stream, a collapsing La Niña, and unusually warm Gulf temperatures is setting up a potentially very active spring severe weather season. Residents in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia should ensure their storm shelters are ready, their NOAA weather radios are functioning, and their emergency plans are in place now, before the season ramps up. Let's break down the next 3 days for each major region. In the Northeast, that's New York, Boston, Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., today, March 2nd, snow and ice are moving through, making travel dangerous. Temperatures are in the 20s to 30s, with wind chills near 0 to 10 degrees. Tomorrow, March 3rd, clearing skies, but it's still bitterly cold. Highs will struggle to reach 25 to 32 degrees, and we'll be watching for black ice on roads overnight. By March 4th, we see a slight moderation, with temperatures creeping into the mid-30s, though that's still below normal. For the Midwest, Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, Cleveland, today brings snow and blowing snow, with wind chills dangerously cold and travel conditions hazardous. Tomorrow, that bitter cold continues, with Minneapolis wind chills near -20 degrees. Folks, avoid unnecessary travel if you can. By March 4th, there's gradual improvement, but temperatures remain well below normal. Down south, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, the Carolinas, today is mild and quiet, which is a good recovery day for storm-weary residents. Tomorrow stays mild, so enjoy it, because a pattern change is coming. By March 4th, we'll see increasing clouds and moisture, and thunderstorm potential begins to develop late in the week ahead. Out west, California, the Pacific Northwest, and the Rockies, from today through March 4th, a Pacific system is developing. Expect heavy mountain snow in the Cascades and Sierra Nevada, and lowland rain returns to Seattle and Portland by midweek. For Canada, above normal temperatures are forecast over much of eastern Canada, but a northerly flow and a colder air mass from western Canada will continue pushing into the northern, western and west-central United States. Western Canada remains locked in Arctic cold through at least midweek. Looking ahead, conditions will gradually improve as March progresses. Spring is arriving fast, and so will the warmer temperatures and the first potential severe weather systems the following week. The midterm trends suggest more dynamic weather will return to the south. The combination of spring cold and increased precipitation will also impact early season snowfall potential, which can still surprise across the northern, central and eastern United States. The ECMWF and UKMO snowfall forecast for March shows above normal snowfall over the southern half of Canada and the northern United States, with more snowfall covering the upper Midwest and northeastern United States. The message is clear. Winter is not done with us yet, but change is coming. And when it does, it will come fast. Be ready. That wraps up today's comprehensive SkyAlert USA weather briefing for March 2nd, 2026. From the Arctic Clipper hammering the Midwest and Northeast, to life-threatening cold across the Great Lakes and Canada, to the early signals of a potentially explosive spring severe weather season, there is no shortage of important weather events to track right now. If this video helped you stay informed and stay safe, please smash that like button, share this with your family and friends, and subscribe to SkyAlert USA so you never miss a critical weather update. Drop your city in the comments. Let us know what's happening in your